So our unending goal at Champion School is to bring success to every student in every way. And one of those ways is just phonics strategies. Phonics is being able to look at any word and know what it is based on what to do with the letters. Now, good readers first will think about sense and use sense to know what the word is, but sometimes you have to look at the letters. And so it's vitally important. I want every fourth grader to know 5-syllable words and be able to read them. Well, back in 1987, after getting a master's in reading, I was so energized by what I learned that I started giving workshops for schools all over the whole tri-state area. And the last book I wrote for teachers was Phonic Strategies for the Literature-Centered Classroom. And so my goal in that is that I think phonics needs to be two things. It needs to be simple, and it's got to be a usable plan. It needs to be those two things. So in that phonics program that I wrote, or the book that I wrote, I have just 3 rules that help kids unlock any word. And so my goal was always to rescue kids where the system didn't make sense to them, and especially boys so many times weren't good at reading, and it was just so fun to rescue them right and left. And that's my goal in teaching, is to help all kids become readers. So the cool thing is, by gradually doing phonics strategy sessions, lessons with the kids, we will gradually work their way up to be able to read like the words that are on the screen, which are many syllable words. It doesn't get harder than the words that are there. And so that's the cool part. This is so exciting that everyone's going to be able to look at those words and read them, instead of what many kids do, which is they look at a few letters and they make tossed salad out of all the other letters, and we can't do that. So that's the whole purpose of the phonics strategy sessions. Hey everybody, we are back. We are on lesson 2 of strategy 2. And so strategy 2 is that if you have 2 or more consonants in between 2 vowels, 2 things happen. One is that the first vowel is going to be short, like almost all the time. And the other is you just divide the word after that first consonant. And so where this is going to be so powerful for you as you get to longer and longer words, is you're going to use this dividing strategy to help know what those words are. And as a good reader, of course, you're going to use sense first, because that tells what words are. But then if that doesn't work, you need to know how the letters work. And so that's what the whole plan of this is. So we are going to put it to practice. Here we go. So what we learned in the last video is, if you get to a word and you don't know it, you first look to see where the vowels are, and then what consonants go between them. That's the secret to dividing words into syllables, so you can actually have a chance of knowing what that word is. And so all the letters that are before the vowels, you don't need to know. They don't matter. They don't have any impact in knowing what this word is. So we're going to start with which letter then? Yep, we're going to go to the I, because yes, one is to watch the video. And so on Google Form, which is really the center for the whole lesson, you find that on Google Classroom under assignments. And so you listen to the video, that's at the top. It tells at the top, what is this rule talking about? How do you use this rule? And then when directed in the video, then each fourth grader is going to go to Google Form and explain each word. And so, for example, this says, what do you know about the word wiggle? So they're going to be writing down where they divide it, what vowel sound it's going to have. Because if they can verbalize the strategy and explain it, you know what, then they can use it. So this is a very important part of the phonics lesson, is to watch the video, but then explain their thinking on Google Form. Phonics strategy lesson is to read the words that are attached on the sheet. And so they're going to be applying this strategy of where if you have two or more consonants in between two vowels, you're going to divide it. After the first consonant, the first vowel is going to be short. So using that rule, they're going to go planter, sponsor, trickle, dropper, and so how long do students read the words? Well, for at least 10 minutes, because they want to get really good at applying that strategy. And so they may already know these words, but what we're really learning is the strategy for dividing words into syllables. So when they get to 5-syllable words, they know where to divide it. They know what sound the vowel is going to have. And so that's what we're leading up to is the application of these strategies for when they get to harder words. That's what this is all about. And so what we'd love to have the students do at home when they're practicing it at home, because that's where all this happens, is at home. Then when they're done, if they could read them to an older sister or brother or to an adult, and if that person could time them for 15 seconds, because we want to be able to read these words like planter, sponsor, trickle, dropper, and so really, really fast. But then when they are back in school or online, then they're also going to read the words to me. And so then the student and I will decide, are you ready to go to the next lesson, or do you need to maybe practice them some more? Because there's 6 pages attached to each lesson that they can practice from. And so we want to make sure they can apply the strategy. So let's just take a quick look at what those 3 phonics strategies are. The first one is if you have a word with one vowel in it, the vowel sound is going to be short. And so what we really learn in this strategy is to put those letters in order. And so these are the sheets that students practice, and so they get a little harder as the chapter progresses. You see words like catch, where they're putting more letters in order. And so it just continues on, getting a little harder. You see damp, graft, fluff, more letters to put in order, even though they all have a short vowel sound because they're long. And so what we're really learning once again in this chapter is to put those letters in order. And how will that help us in the future? Well, when we divide words into syllables, then we have to put those letters in order as well. So see how more challenging they're getting? Fritz, jig, prim, wrath. And so even the more able readers are going to, want to practice these. So see, there are many pages for them to practice, and I always tell my students, I don't care about these words. What I care is that you know the strategies. And so this first one is one vowel in the word is short. 2 vowels, 2 things happen. One is that first vowel, it's going to be short. The other is you're going to divide the word after that first consonant. So here we go, kitty, rocket, bobbin. And so even though these are smaller, easier, just 2-syllable words, this is the strategy they're going to use on the longer words. And so once again, we have many, many pages for them to practice dividing words into syllables. And so on the Google form sheet, they're going to be explaining how that strategy works. So even on longer words like this, it's vowel, consonant, 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 vowel. 2 or more consonants in between 2 vowels, divided after that first consonant right here, and it's going to be scramble, and that first vowel is going to be short. So we'll take a quick peek through all those pages and go to the end of the chapter where the words are noticeably harder, where we have words like in the middle row, mattock, grudge, plumber, trundle. So that's the second strategy, isn't it, between 2 vowels. And when it comes to silent E, that makes the first vowel long, but that's not where we really use the rule. The real use of the rule comes when we don't have silent E. And so, for example, if we look at the middle row, they're all vowel, consonant, vowel, 1 vowel between 2 consonants. And the problem with this rule is that first vowel, it could be long and it could be short, like tape, or it's long, but planet is short. And so what students have to learn on this strategy, which is the most common strategy in our language, is that they have to be ready to A, divide it before or after the consonant, but to know that it could be long or it could be short. And so as they practice these words, they get better and better and better at realizing, that it could be basin or basin, lemon or lemon, tonic or tonic. So by the time we get to the end of the chapter, and so I'm just showing that there are lots and lots of words in each chapter so they can have a ton of practice at becoming automatic at these strategies. And notice how down here, third row towards the bottom, it's vowel, consonant, vowel, and then it's vowel, consonant, vowel again. And so those patterns repeat, which is just what happens in many syllable words as well. So what does that mean? This word could be cabinet, that's what it is. It could also be cabinet or cabinet, because if it's vowel, consonant, vowel, it could be short and it could be long. Of words is where the rubber really hits the road. It's where all the strategies get mixed together. And if you look at the middle row, I even put in like vowel letter combinations like OU or vowel plus R, so that I can kind of see as I listen to kids read the words what else I need to supply to them that they need to know. And so as you see, as this chapter goes on, the words get harder and harder. So we're slowly crawling up that mountain to use those two dividing strategies and become automatic at it. And so I have video lessons for every 6 pages and forms to go with it. And there's no way anyone is going to escape not being able to read long words. And so they just put them into syllables. See this word here, dominant. But it's vowel, consonant, vowel. Also could be dominant or dominant. And so all the video lessons explain this again and again and again. This chapter has many, many word lists because we're gradually getting harder and harder, to use those dividing strategies. And we have kids at every grade level, that could use these. See, when we get further into the chapter, look at how many syllables those words have. But they're going to use those same dividing strategies. And so this whole program is individualized. And so students can progress through it as rapidly as they can. So if they need, they're going to be at where they need to be. So that's the cool news. Nobody's held back doing easy words if they can handle it. And so they will each progress at their own rate. And so by the end of the chapter, if this isn't exciting, they're going to be reading words like that because those syllable dividing strategies will be so within them that they are able to just automatically do it. So it's just a beautiful gradual climb up the mountain to be able to read anything. They will be housed in Google Classroom. So if they click on classwork and go to phonics strategies, all the lessons are there, which they can progress through as rapidly as they are able. So I have the phonics strategy 1 lessons in there, and I'll be working on adding 2, 3, and 4 as well. So this is going to bring total success, to the students who do these. And all these lessons are done at home, but then I will be listening to them read the words back here at school or online, whichever way works. Awesome.